I need to find a good. If you had to recommend one mafia book to start reading, what would it be, Rob?
Well, that would be rough.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would go. I mean, I would have to try to think of something that's an easy read, but that's really catching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talked about the Butcher, which is Tommy Karate. That book was one of the early ones that I read. The Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, was one of the early ones that I read. Um, those like I was just finding out like about the whole world. You know what I mean? And I didn't know like if it said uh, the world's scariest mobster, then I thought, okay, well, everyone knows that it's a fact. You know that guy? He's like they call him the world's scariest mobster. You know, like I didn't understand that was everybody. And then the more I learned about it, just because it's nonfiction, it's all connected. It's
Yeah.
crazy how much everyone knew each other and how they were connected to our society in different ways, from running our unions to actually rubbing elbows with the politicians and you know it's a small world. I mean, I've met a few of them. I befriended Michael Franzese when he was doing a show here in Las
Yeah.
Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and man, for a while there, I was DMing Kenji Gallo, who a lot of people don't know him, but his story is interesting. If you look him up, his book is called um, damn, I can't, Breakaway, Break
Break,
Shot or Breakaway, Break Shot.
break shot. Let me see. Take a look. Break shot. I'm gonna type it in.
Kenji Gallo, and also
Oh, there it is.
yeah,
Yep.
really good
Ooh.
documentary too. It's easy to watch documentary. It's easier to read. You can get it done in 60 minutes sometimes, but
Ooh, nice.
but his story is like really interesting. LA guy, and but let's see. To answer your question, like how, mm, it really depends. Like if it was that broad of a question, like I just want to start somewhere,
Yeah.
then maybe. I mean, you can read about the families. There's these red books that are put out. I just finished reading the Lucchese family. Before that was the Patriarchas, and I mean, it tells you about like the whole history of that family. Really good read. Um, I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say Sam Giancana.
Same G. The bull is
Sam
that?
Giancana. Shit. What's the book? Double
Double cross.
double cross. Yeah. I think I was gonna
Right.
get that. I had the meaning, and I was trying to think, what's the word that means betraying? But yeah, I would say to start with that one. His that was written with his one of
Ooh.
his nephew or his son. Um,
With the Chuck Giasana,
yeah,
Betty Bettina
yeah,
Giasana.
yeah. And he's written a lot of other good books too. But anyway, I throw him out there because he crossed paths with so much that I think somebody would find fascinating, such as the whole kill Fidel Castro in Cuba,
Oh
the
shit.
CIA going to him and looking for his help to assassinate other world leaders as well. And he was buddies with Frank Sinatra. He banged Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Oh shit.
He was instrumental, most likely, in having JFK whacked, at least planning it. So, a lot of really interesting stuff that I think most people could relate to.
I am buying it right now. Once I put in
Cool.
my email. I. It's so funny. Like I was just about to ask you too about like how much did you know about Sinatra's mob ties? So that's awesome that this is the guy that had a.
It's amazing how many mobsters that guy knew.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, throughout the years, different territories, different families. Like he rubbed elbows with all of them.
Oh.
Him and Sam Giancana. I don't remember this being a double cross. Maybe it was, but they owned. It probably was, but they owned a hotel together that's on the border of California and Nevada called the Cal Neva Lodge, And the border goes like right through the middle of it. So you have gambling on one side, and where it's legal, and it's really cool. But when Sam Giancana was outed as one of the owners, Dean Martin backed off. He was supposed to be one of the owners, and Sinatra got in trouble for it and had to go through the hearings and stuff. And just lied his ass. Said that he heard that Sam was on the property one time, and he told him to leave. But there's all this contradicting footage and stuff. But yeah, everywhere he went, on the East Coast, there's pictures with him and Paul Castellano and Jimmy Fradiano and a bunch of the guys from the Westchester Theater. Which, by the way, I'm going to be in Westchester July 7th. I'm going to be looking. Yeah, I'm planning on going by the Westchester, the spot where the Westchester Theater was, where the Gambinos built this. I think I talked about it last week. They built this theater. They paid Diana Ross I think it was like $70,000 a week, something ridiculous. But they had like extra seats in there where they could sell and then make money off record, and just it was just a scam every which way. But there's a famous picture of Sinatra there. But yeah, I'm going to be there July 7th at a mall, Jefferson Valley Mall. So I look forward to that. And you can see that on robvandam.com along with my other appearances. But yeah, Sinatra, he went to Cuba to the big Havana meeting, the commission meeting with all the bosses. Luciano was already kicked out of the country, made his way from Italy to Cuba. And they had this meeting, and Sinatra shows up with the right before I said it, I just blanked on their name. The brothers, they're Al Capone's the Frschetti brothers, out of Chicago, and allegedly he had $2 million of their money on him too that he carried, but don't know if that's true or not. It's one of the accusations, but yeah, wherever he's at though, he's always like hanging out with the different families. Willie Moretti in New Jersey was a big, a good friend. As a matter of fact, Willie Moretti was instrumental in helping his career, allegedly, according to the story, when Tommy Dorsey had a contract on Sinatra and didn't want to let him out of it. Willie Moretti put a gun to his head.
Oh, shit.
Allegedly, yeah. And so all these accusations are that the Mafia helped his career like the whole way, but none of it's provable. But what is evident is that he did a lot of favors for them. Like Sam Giancana, he opened up this huge hotel in Chicago, and he's just like, Sinatra, and we have Sinatra, and book Sinatra, he's going to play my place for free for a couple of years, or a couple of weeks at a time or whatever. And he did that. He did that all the time, Sinatra. And sometimes he got paid, sometimes he didn't. And, the mobsters back in the day owned the entire entertainment business anyway. So you could get blackballed in a hurry if you made some enemies there, but quite the opposite. If you haven't, there's some really good documentaries as well on Frankie.
Oh man, yeah.
Frank Sinatra was banging Judith Exner Campbell, this other girl besides Marilyn and Judith Exner Campbell. They're two different girls that Giancana was with and JFK was with at the same time. And so they're saying that they transported information, secrets or whatever, which with Marilyn, who knows? I think if he was with Marilyn, it might have just been rape. Okay. But the other one, the FBI traced Judith back and forth, going from one to the other all the time. William Romer documented that and would talk about it, and that's interesting. But yeah, like right before Marilyn died, she was at that Calneva Lodge, the hotel that they owned, and they partied their asses off. She was drugged up. Apparently, according to legend, they ran a train on her while she was passed out. Had pictures of her and everything, and then she was in a really bad place because, well, the Kennedys were treating her like she had a disease, like they didn't know her, and she was in love with both of them. But most recently, Robert Kennedy, and she was saying that she was going to out exploit a lot of the information that she had, secrets about the Kennedys, and boom, they killed her.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, that's crazy stuff. I grew up a fan of like the Rat Pack. D. Martin, I'm obsessed with. So like, and I know he was in Steuben. He was born in Steubenville, Ohio. He worked at like the Rex cigar store as a croupier. But there was a guy named Cosmo Catrone that ran that, and I'm distantly related to him. But apparently, he had some ties with the mafia, allegedly, I guess. And that was a front kind of thing, from what I heard, and all this kind of stuff. It's fascinating, and then the Marilyn Monroe Sinatra stuff is always like, wow, wow, stuff. So, yeah, it's holy smokes, what a business.